And thankfully, Jody Kerzman has a bit of spare time to spend with us this morning. It's a segment we call Good News Leftovers because it gives us a story behind the story. Let's say hello to my neighbor in the newsroom, Jody Kerzman.
Did you write that?
No, I did not.
I could tell you did not write that.
I did not write that. I had to read it, though, because it was right there. I added the
all
part.
Fingers point towards producer Heather right there.
Yeah,
That's why she's my best.
Heather wrote that. All right, now you've got some really cool stories that we ran over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. And the first one, the first thing that pops into my mind with Pierce Schmaus is 2 million.
Yeah. It's a lot of bricks.
That's
Think about that. Bricks. I mean, I have a hard time comprehending when you have that many zeros behind a number.
Jeez.
How many it is. But this house alone, he figures will be about 5,000 bricks.
Unreal.
And it's not complete brick, right? There's just some brick features on the front.
Right.
But really cool. And he told me all the technical terms, and I can't remember them, but he does fabulous work.
He does.
And he's from a long line of bricklayer. Like his dad was a bricklayer in Williston. He grew up in Williston, and so by the time he was 17, he was an apprentice. And then by 21, he was a journeyman, moved to Glendive, kind of did his own thing there. But he rattled off to me some of the buildings he had done around town. And Bismarck High School is the one that sticks out to me.
Wow.
He did some of the brickwork at Bismarck
That's
High.
really cool.
Yeah.
I think the story also said that he did some of the stonework in this house. This is his daughter's house that he's working on.
So his daughter and her husband are building their dream home.
And looked like a nice place.
It looks beautiful, yeah, in a brand new part of Bismarck I didn't know existed. It's so far north. It's amazing every time you drive. Like, is my phone going to tell me where that is? But yeah, I mean, she said, how can I build a home with brickwork and not have my dad help me? And he just did a fabulous job.
You know, you talk about neighborhoods popping up in Bismarck that you didn't know about. When I moved here, Evangel Temple was way, way north.
Right.
Now it's about in the middle of town.
I know.
Seems like.
It's crazy.
Yep.
You're getting old.
Same with Furniture Row. I thought, who's going to drive out here to buy a couch?
Costco, St. Mary's High School,
all of that. All right, now this was, I think, came to such a surprise for people in the Bismarck area. All of a sudden we wake up and we hear Little Cottage Cafe has closed.
You know, and we didn't give this the good news little bird intro that we do on most of my stories because it's not really good news. But I think there is some good news there. I think the outpouring that Bob and Wanda got, the outpouring of support from customers, from people who were regulars, from people who maybe had only been there once, really they have to walk away thinking, we did something good. And Wanda said that. You just don't realize it's a grind. The restaurant business is a grind.
Without question.
And you don't realize the impact you're having until you're at this point. No, the reason they're closing is Bob has some medical issues and he needs to have surgery on his foot. And at the end of the day, your health is more important than serving Wayne Wolf breakfast, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd walk in there and did a lot of takeout caramel rolls or whatever, and Wanda was always just so gracious. And we did a shout out on North Dakota Today one day.
Their caramel rolls, yum.
Oh.
The coolest thing, I mean, there's lots of cool things about their story, but Little Cottage is kind of how they met. He was working for Coke and would come in with his coworkers, and she would wait on them. He got laid off from Coke and he came in and, you know, it was his routine. And she said, well, you should just buy this place. And so he did. And then they fell in love and here we are.
I think you mentioned in the story that at one point he said, I'm going to marry that gal.
Yeah. He was right.
There you go. And they've been cooking ever since.
Yeah, they're a fabulous couple.
That's awfully good. Now, talk about a face that you aren't going to forget. This young man is helping his brother sell raffle tickets, right?
Little Davis, isn't he? The cutest. So, and this homeowner, Beth Nielsen, was actually home. She just couldn't get to the door, and her dogs are barking, and she couldn't get there. And, you know, you get this notification, somebody's at your door, and she just was like, I have to find this kid. And she thought and thought and thought. She didn't want to put his pictures out on social media and, you know, attract some weirdos. But she decided, I need to know who this kid is. Well, it turns out they don't live that far from each other. You know, he was just out in the neighborhood helping his brothers. And so they connected, and he was selling tickets for Light of Christ schools. And Beth bought $100 worth. And you know what? She didn't win a darn thing.
But she got a lot of notoriety out of the thing.
But she didn't care. And they formed this kind of really neat friendship. And Davis's mom said, you know, we can ride our bikes over to Beth's house and just say hi. And Beth said Davis was a light, right? Just So true.
Yeah.
I mean, just the cutest little kid.
And I'm trying to recall the story as you had written it, something about that she said this elongated nose
Yeah.
and this big smile was looking right into my ring
Because
doorbell.
when you look into that doorbell, you know,
Yeah.
it's going to mess up your face a little bit, but gosh, so stinking cute.
Yep, no kidding. Those were great stories.
you.
Pierce Schmaus, the Little Cottage Cafe, and that face. Hard to forget. All right, can you